Hi there. Well, my name is Paula, and this YouTube channel I use it to talk about being an INFP and also sometimes to talk about writing because I'm an INFP and also I'm a writer. And if you want to look at some of my books, I write under the pen name EJ Mara. So my books are available on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble online under that pen name. But anyway, sometimes as INFPs, we can get like really down in the dumps because I don't know, it's just hard for us to stay positive sometimes. And over the weekend, I attended this lecture on Zoom since nobody can go anywhere right now. So it was like an online lecture series, and it was about like maintaining positivity. And there was a whole bunch of information, and all of it was really good. How to like maintain positivity or kind of pick yourself up back up when you start to feel down. So I just wanted to talk about or share those today, since I know this is something INFPs often deal with, just kind of getting down in the dumps. So one of the first points that was brought out was instead of thinking about what you can't do, think about what you can do. And that's really simple. It's kind of like, well, duh. But it's something, honestly, that I don't think to do when I'm feeling bad about myself or, like just having a moment. I start to think of all the things that I can't do. And this is something I think that often affects people who have illnesses too, like chronic illnesses. Because when you suddenly find that your body kind of like betrays you, your health gets bad, and all of a sudden you can't do things that seem simple, like walk. Maybe you can't walk one day, um, and you start to realize how you took that for granted, and you start to think about all the things that you can't do, the little things that you were able to do before this illness took over, and all of a sudden you can't do them. And it can be really, really depressing and the start of a spiral, like a downward spiral into a really dark place. So, one of the points that was mentioned, like I said, is to think about like, yes, there are things that you can't do, sadly. There are things that all of us can't do, whether it's because of physical limitations due to an illness or maybe money problems or maybe anxiety problems. We all have some things that we can't do, but there are so many more things that we can do. So it does take a little bit of creativity, maybe, to think, you know, like if you if there's something that's hindering you that you really just can't do to get to this goal that you have, there are still other ways to get to that goal. You just have to think about it in terms of, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that, but what can I do? What am I good at? And how can I use that to get where I want to be? Because there is always a way to get there. It's just that you have to think about it in terms of what you are able to do, because there are definite things that you are able to do. So focus on those and really hone those to use them to get where you want to be and get what you want. So I just thought that was a really good way of looking at life, to constantly think about, to kind of push aside that little voice that says, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. Yeah, that's true, but what can I do? And then the second point, which was also very simple, was when you start to feel bad about yourself, and you kind of start on that downward spiral that I mentioned earlier, stop thinking about yourself and start thinking about who in your life you can help. And that really has helped me a lot. Like I've heard this advice before this weekend, and I have tried to use that before, and it did help a lot. Um, because I think as INFPs, we're very aware of our feelings. And because of that, we are constantly in a state of self analysis. We're always analyzing ourselves. Like, why do I feel this way? Is it okay that I feel this way? Where does that come from? Does this go back to some childhood problem? Like we dig deep into our psyche and whatever else is going on with us. Um, the thing is, though, that same effort that we put into trying to understand ourselves, um, we also are very good at doing that with other people when we care about other people. So sometimes it can be helpful when we start to get a little bit negative about ourselves and all of our problems, because we all have problems, um, is to take that tendency to be so analytical and turn it around into being analytical about what can I do to help my friend have a good day today? Or maybe even if it's someone who's not your friend, just an acquaintance who you notice looks a little sad, or a homeless person who you pass every day and you always think, oh man, I wish I could do something, but I don't really know what to do. Take some time and think, what can I do? Because I know there's something I can do. Even if it's just like to give them a $5 gift card to Walmart or something, you can probably do that. Um, or even if it's just to say hi and ask them how they're doing, or make a sandwich for them. I don't know. Uh, but there are endless possibilities when it comes to ways to help other people. And one thing that I found is when I do go out of my way to help someone in the way that I wish someone would help me sometimes, I always end up like getting a gift in return. And it's not, I don't mean like a physical, like something, a tangible gift, but like just a moment of clarity. Um, yeah, like I don't want to go into like a whole bunch of detail, but I remember this one time I was feeling really, really depressed. So I went to a friend of my family, an elderly lady. This was way before the pandemic, so it was okay to visit people. um, I went to her house just to kind of see, so I could get my mind off of myself. I wanted to see if she needed anything, like some groceries or something, because sometimes she have difficulty leaving her house. Because I needed to get my mind off of myself. So I did. I went and got like a couple of groceries for her. And when I went to her house, um, I ended up staying there. I just wanted to drop the stuff off and then go home and, eat dinner and be depressed all by myself. But I ended up staying at her house for like hours because we got into this really long discussion that kind of that had a huge impact on my life. Like, she is not an American. She's from another country. And I didn't realize how much she'd been through before she came to America. She nearly died from starvation. She was shot at by soldiers. She lived through a war. Like, we ended up talking about her life. And she said a lot of things that changed my perspective on life. So that conversation that I had with her was a huge gift. And it came stop from being able to stop thinking about myself so much, even though I was going through a really rough time, and to think about somebody else. And then, like, by doing that, I had this wonderful experience. And I think that happens to a lot of people. When they do things for other people, they get something in return that is really, really meaningful. So, so yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that that is how life works. That if you want to get out of a hole of a hole that you're digging by being super sad and a little bit too maybe self centered, it can really help to think about someone else and then reach out to them and try to help them. And then in the end, you'll find yourself being helped. And also, the other point from that program that I watched was what was it? I forgot. Oh, yeah, instead of focusing on what you can't do, focus on the things that you can do because there are plenty of things that you can do. So it just takes a little bit of shifting the way you perceive things. So I hope that was helpful. And if you have other suggestions about how to get out of a bad headspace and kind of be more positive, please feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.